this alternate universe that ESPN and corporate media have built. One of the biggest stories in sports over the last year and a half, certainly to me, the person that should be Sports Person of the Year, most fascinating person in sports, is Caitlin Clark. And what cannot be discussed is the level of racial animus that's being directed at her. Now, if you're in independent media, if you're over Twitter, you can talk about it all the time. I've yet to see it discussed on ESPN like, holy cow, these hating ass Shaniquas, this is racism. This is racism. And I say that I'm a Caitlin Clark nut job homer. I watch every game, and now and so yesterday they played the Seattle Storm. Noelle Quinn is the Storm's head coach, and Noelle Quinn got into a heated argument with Christy Sides, the head coach of the Indiana Fever at the end of the game. The Seattle Storm, very good team, got their doors blown off yesterday by Caitlin Clark and the Fever at Indiana. It was a joy to watch. And at the end of it, Noelle Quinn starts yelling and screaming and preaching at Christy Sides. Let's play that clip so people can see it.
Noelle Quinn and Christy Sides. I'm not sure that's a pleasant conversation over there. Noelle Quinn, I believe, is upset at Christy Sides for not immediately emptying her bench at that last time out. And Noelle Quinn having to be separated from Christy Sides.
So it wasn't about the empty bench. It wasn't about emptying the bench. And I'm not blaming the broadcaster. He just didn't know. What it was about was at the end of the game, Caitlin Clark, they're up big, and there's a timeout, and she starts clapping. She's down at the end of the court where the Seattle Storm bench is, and she's clapping and she's motioning to the crowd, pump up the noise. And Skylar Diggins intentionally bumps into Caitlin Clark and carries her into the Storm huddle or sideline area. And you can see at the very end of this clip, it's very hard, but you got to watch before that guy's head gets in the way. But right before that, Noelle Quinn gets triggered. And this is about, 1 minute and 20 seconds to go in the game. Noelle Quinn gets triggered because Caitlin Clark is doing this, and she thinks she's showing up the Seattle Storm team. But if she had not been bumped into by Skylar Diggins, she would have been nowhere near. And so that's what Noelle Quinn's upset about. That's why Skylar Diggins was out at half court trying to talk some sense into either Noelle Quinn or trying to egg Noelle Quinn on that somehow this was bad sportsmanship. To me, Steve, is just another example of these black women. They got this animosity, and it's not all of them, but it's enough of them that seem to be so bothered by the success of Caitlin Clark, they lose their composure, they lose their self-control, they just get triggered by her success, and it's like no one's talking about it.
They're not allowed to. And I'm going to go back to a familiar theme. A lot of these individuals that cover these leagues and games and teams, especially if they're a white male, they don't dare touch that subject. They don't want to take the heat. They don't want to be branded. And Jason, I'm going to admit something. I hope you're sitting down firmly. Hope you're sitting down. Okay. I'm not at the level where I'm watching the games of Caitlin Clark. But hold on. I'm actually watching the clipped highlights. Not of the game, though, just of Caitlin Clark. So every basket she makes, I've seen it the last week or so. Every assist she makes with her incredible floor vision, I've seen it. I'm not going to lie to you. The guys on YouTube, hell of a job, fellas. You're saving me a lot of time. And look, she's entertaining, and now she is productive, and she is beginning, I don't know if to dominate, but she is in much better control of her game. So think about this, Jason. 3-4 months ago, when she was struggling, you could make an argument like, why is this great white hope getting all this attention? Right? You could almost make an argument for the philosophy of grievance, to take a term from Thomas Sowell. Now that she's actually really, really good and starting to dominate, and I'm just telling you, when I watch these highlights, every time Caitlin does something, the crowd reacts in a different way. They are there to see her, whether she's a home or an away player. It's a lot like Michael Jordan. Right after his rookie year, he became the attraction. I mean, I'm actually looking at the Fever bench. That bench seems to be into the game now for Caitlin. I think the chemistry seems to have improved. Like, I think they figured out, you know what? This young lady can really play. We got to hitch our wagon to her. I just find this really interesting. Last week, when I was at dinner with Michael Thompson, the father of Clay, former two-time NBA world champion, he actually might be a bigger Caitlin Clark fan than you, Jason, believe it or not. Honestly, he thinks very highly. And I asked him, I said, Michael, do you think she's the best rookie? And he scoffed. He said, Steve, not only is she the best rookie by far, he said, I will give respect to Asia Wilson. She has to be number one. Steve, she might be the second best player in the league right now. So she has improved by leaps and bounds the last 2-3 months.
She had a difficult start because their schedule was incredibly difficult early on, and there was the defensive focus on her, which is still super high, but she couldn't handle it. She just transitioned from college basketball to the WNBA, and even calling her start difficult is a bit of an exaggeration. She didn't have a superstar start first 10 games or so. You eliminate the first 10 games and just evaluate what she's done. I think they're now 13 and 15, so the last 18 games, she's the second best player in the league and has a case for MVP of the league. If you just evaluate the last 18, 19 games. And she probably, she won't get it next year, but she probably will be the best player in the league next year and should be the MVP, because what she's done even just yesterday, she had a horrible first half yesterday. Came back in the second half, played terrific. And you're right, Steve, her teammates have jumped on board with her because winning is infectious. They understand a rising tide lifts all boats. Here, just imagine most of these women on her team, they weren't in college, they weren't playing in front of large crowds. In high school, they weren't playing in front of large crowds. Caitlin Clark hasn't played in front of sellout big arenas every single game. It's like, how are we going to complain about this? And how are we going to complain about someone who passes me the ball and gets me so many easy shots and great looks? How can I complain about this? Her teammates are on board with her. Other players around the league are starting to jump on board. But there is this angry group, Noelle Quinn, I think the guard on that team, Lloyd, who won't talk about her, and even Skylar Diggins, who I like, took that little shove at her yesterday. They're just enraged and jealous and petty, and I'm just sorry, it's right. It's bigoted. If this were happening to a black player by a bunch of white players, this would be leading Sports Center every night and every ESPN talk show. People called me crazy when I was like, hey, look, she won't be facing death threats like Jackie Robinson, but this might be more difficult than Jackie Robinson. And Jackie Robinson was an all-star his first year in Major League Baseball, and Caitlin Clark is one of the best 5 players, best 2 or 3 players in the WNBA in her rookie year.
And Jason, you didn't mention, they're no longer taking midnight red-eyes on Spirit or Frontier Airlines. This is what I think they should do to pay proper homage to the CNC Shot Factory. Every private jet that they fly on, you know how Notre Dame has that one sign that everyone touches, play like a champion today? Or Michigan said, those who stay will be champions. They should put up like a big portrait or a mural of Caitlin Clark. And every time they get seated, just touch her face like, thanks. Thanks. See, that would be respectful. That would be something that would show the proper appreciation for the impact that she has had on the WNBA.
And look, man, we're going to stop right there. 100%. These guys are right. Jason Whitlock, 100%, always spitting facts. You know, this is a little bit of a racial thing. And I feel like Jason Whitlock has been one of the most truthful, straight to the point when it comes to the whole back and forth and the narrative between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all these other veterans and all these other players and things like that. Look, what you did in the hip check and then the coach trying to go off on Chrissy's sides like that and then begging you to, not begging, but like getting mad you didn't take your player. You know what I mean? Like, and then with the Caitlin Clark situation, look, your player in front of your own eyes sped up and bumped Caitlin Clark. And you had nothing but defense for her. And then you're going to go try to go off on Chrissy's sides. Like, to me, this is starting to look, and I keep saying it, the more and more I keep doing these videos, the more and more the racial hate is starting to show. Very clear. Very clear. Caitlin Clark, as stated, she is the top player, one of the top players in the league right now. And I think people are hating. People are hating the money. People are hating the brand deals. People are hating the Nike deal. People are hating that the Fever are winning games. People are hating that everybody thought that they were going to be able to bully Caitlin Clark in this league, saying that, oh, she has a rude awakening. Well, guess what? You guys have the rude awakening. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are here to take you guys out. The way they're playing basketball right now is exciting. You got guys like my man right here in the orange. He doesn't even like watching the games. He's just starting to watch Caitlin Clark's highlight because she's exciting. Nobody else really in the WNBA. Yeah, you guys have accomplished some things. Yeah, Kelsey Plum was the leading scorer. Nobody cares. We just don't have interest in you guys. Nobody cares. The style of basketball Caitlin plays is fun, exciting, gets the crowd going, gets her team going. You guys got to understand that, how we look at the game. And then just as a basketball fan, we want to see exciting basketball. And then, you know, we try to defend you guys, but when you do things so blatantly as Diggins did, and then what the coach is doing, this is out of hand. This is just straight jealousy and hate. Pure jealousy and hate right in front of our eyes. And every time I see Clark, she's either just trying to play basketball and compete, or she's giving other people their praises and just talking good about the other coach or other players or whatever the case is. I never really see her do any jabs or any low, shady movements like this. This is just low. Skylar Diggins, you being a veteran and you doing that right in front of your bench like that, come on. That's just uncalled for. And I'm surprised that they really didn't give her a technical and, you know, pretty much show the replay and things like that. And Caitlin Clark has every right to hype her crowd up and hype her fans up. They're busting her ass. As stated in my other video, you should have did something about it on the court if you had a problem with this Skylar Diggins. But instead, you're trying to be doing your jealous act, trying to get Caitlin involved in a little scuffle that she had nothing to do with. She had nothing to do with that. So to me, everything that's coming out is very important because I think everybody needs to see this. Caitlin Clark, they might be a problem for the playoffs. They are very capable of winning the playoffs, winning the finals. Caitlin Clark is very capable of winning MVP. Yes, Asia Wilson, 100%, you're amazing. But it just might happen. So I know you guys aren't ready for that conversation, but the more and more, here's the thing. As stated, Jason Whitlock, as stated, there's been a lot of people now, Angel Reese fans on Twitter and everything. Yeah, eating your words up. Caitlin Clark is far ahead of everybody else in the rookie class, and I don't want to hear it. And now everybody else doesn't want to hear it, and they're calling it out, which is good to see. So look, man, it's your boy ceokana. I'm going to leave it right there. If you guys have not, make sure you guys sub to the channel. I appreciate you guys, man. Catch you on the next video. We out.